Good morning, listeners. Good morning, audience. Good morning, everybody who's joined us for our webinar this morning on how to buy energy and save like the experts. What we're going to run through here today, guys, is a bit of an Energy Markets 101. Okay, we're going to run through some of the concepts of the energy market, some of the risks, and fundamentally what we're going to look to leave you with when we finish today is the following. 3 tips to buy better, 2 traps to avoid, and 1 trick used by large businesses. Before we jump into that though, I'd like to take the chance to introduce myself and my colleague Amber sitting here beside me. So if I may. My name's Edward Hanna. I'm the General Manager of Corporate Solutions here at Energy Action. I've been with the business 20 years. So when we were a humble little .com, I started here at Energy Action building our auction platform, which now supports a lot of our activity in the market and churns a fair portion of the market each year right around the country. I work now with our larger clients, helping them on some of the more complex solutions that they're pursuing to manage their risks and energy costs and their net zero position in our market.
Thanks, Ed. My name's Amber Gillogly. I'm the General Manager of Operations at Energy Action. I've been with Energy Action for around 12 years, looking after all of the back office operations which power our platforms and systems, including our Energy Action auction platform, all of our tenders for small market, and also our Energy Metrics service and associated portal.
Great. Thanks, Amber. As I mentioned, what we would like to leave you with today is 3 tips to help you buy energy better, 2 traps to avoid when you go to market to get the best price for energy, and 1 trick used by large businesses to ensure that they maximise their position in the energy markets year in, year out. Right, so to kick off, I'm going to introduce you to the electricity supply chain. What you can see on screen there is the physical supply chain which gets electricity from the point of production through the transmission and distribution network and then down into your place of business or your place of residence and powers the Australian economy. On the east coast of Australia, this supply chain is managed by the Australian Energy Market Operator. And for most businesses around the country, the way that you access this energy market is through your energy retailer. The role of your energy retailer is to essentially protect you from the wholesale price risk that goes along with this physical supply chain. So that is, they take the prices provided into the market by generators and they manage the risks around that. The other thing that the retailers do is bundle up all of the costs, the rest of the costs in the supply chain. So the transmission costs, the distribution costs, other statutory and environmental costs, and present those on a bill to you. So at the end of each month or each quarter, depending on the size of your business, you've got an energy bill to pay. A couple of comments just on this before I move on from it. Some things I just wanted to call out. This supply chain is very much in transition at the moment. As we speak, AEMO and other government agencies are busy beavering away, writing a whole new set of rules for what this market will look like in 2025 and beyond. And participants such as yourselves are also making fundamental decisions which are having a big impact on this supply chain. What we can see from where we sit is a lot more solar going into the market, a lot more sharing of the risks around the pricing in this market, and a lot more complexity coming into the market as we move forward. We'll talk to some of it today, but you may have to tune into our Energy 102 in coming months to get across more of this. The other observation I'll make is about the transition on this market is the fossil fuel supply chain is an inherently inefficient supply chain. We dig stuff out of the ground, we burn it. In the process, we lose a whole lot of the energy embodied in that stuff we dig out of the ground. We shove it down the wires, we lose more of it. It goes into your place of business and your house and into appliances, and we lose a bit more. And I've seen over the course of the last 20 years some phenomenal step changes in how we use energy in this country, and I expect that we're going to see more as well addressing that inefficiency. We'll talk briefly today too about the gas markets and gas supply chains. Gas is also managed by AEMO on the east coast of Australia, and they govern the supply chain and the trading around it as well, and the wholesale and retail markets. The gas supply chain is quite stable at the moment. There's a lot of noise in the media right now about what it might look like in 10 years' time when hydrogen becomes an accessible fuel to replace the methane the natural gas that we extract from the ground and we burn in our energy generation processes. So it will go and undergo some considerable change through the next decade as well. Additionally, we've seen in the gas energy market over the course of the last 6 years, probably, some pretty fundamental changes to the price and the risks associated with pricing in gas, which has made gas a very political issue in this country. There's some great opportunities for gas buyers right now. Tip one, I'm too early on the tips. Tip one, there's some great opportunity for gas buyers in the market right now, as we've seen in the wake of COVID and international demand for natural gas fall, prices in Australia fall, and new products emerge as well to balance some of the risks and costs. Okay, so just to make the point, we've looked at the physical supply chain. Underneath that physical supply chain is a wholesale market, which the generators and retailers trade in. So just the way as you or experts in your business might trade currency or foreign exchange or even stocks and shares in your super portfolio, energy is traded. It's a very volatile commodity. The market rules allow it to trade between plus $10,400 a megawatt and minus $1,000 a megawatt. It trades, the price is set every 5 minutes and settles every 30 minutes here on the east coast of Australia. And the energy retailer that you're dealing with and paying your bills to and trying to buy energy from is protecting you from that volatility. That's their fundamental role. What we see, we track these markets very closely. We track the wholesale markets for energy. We also track the retail markets for energy. And I guess I just want to make the link here again between the wholesale markets, which is where the energy commodities are traded very fast, traded very frequently, and what you see on your bill. What you see on your bill is a forward price for energy. So it's a price that you agree today for a future period, and the retailer supplies energy to you, hopefully in a pretty firm way, at that price to protect you from these markets. Over time, however, these prices do change, and what we've got on screen there is the Energy Action Price Index. If you haven't had the opportunity to do so, please check out our website where we publish this every single day. We update it very, very frequently, and it's a fantastic tool if you are in the energy markets looking for an energy contract, because it'll give you an idea of where prices are in your state at any point in time, and also give you an idea for explaining to your boards and decision makers in your business why the price is what it is and what risk your contract is protecting you from.
So first things first on an Energy 101 is understanding which market your site or sites fall within. So a small market site is determined by consumption threshold, typically less than 100 meg per annum, which equates to a spend of about $25,000 per year. The bills are typically bundled, so you will see, say, 4 or 5 line items on your bill with a bundled cents per kilowatt hour cost and some fixed fees displayed. Gas also less than 10 TJs per year, slightly less than 35K per year for spend. And you may see for small market billing, rather than receiving a monthly bill, they may be received quarterly, and that would indicate that your meter type is why some are monthly and some are quarterly. If you are on a quarterly bill, it would determine that you are in the small market. How do we identify large market? A larger consumption threshold and spend, so greater than 25,000 per year, or greater than 35 for gas, you will have an unbundled bill. So when you receive your bill at home, you've got those 4 or 5 line items. If your bill looks similar for your place of work, you're on small market. Large market is identifiable by about 17 line items broken up to individual categories, which we'll take a look at now. So this is an example of a large market customer energy bill. Made up of a few components. You've got your pass-through costs, which are your network costs and your market operator charges. So these are the pass-through costs from the market, which must be delivered to the end user. Your poles and wires, the cost of bringing energy through to your site as described by Ed. In terms of procurement, you're procuring for your contestable costs. That's your peak, off-peak and shoulder if you're in New South Wales, retail energy charges. These are what you are seeking pricing for within your retail contract, along with your environmental certificate costs are also contestable. In addition, large market, you will note the metering charge, which is also a contestable cost on your bill.
So if I may just jump in there, Amber, just two things. If we go back to our physical supply chain, we can see on that bill how the line item names align roughly to that physical supply chain. So we've obviously got the retailer charges on the top corner, and that's where we see that's where the generation costs are typically embodied, plus the retailer's own cost of serve and margin and so forth. On the right-hand side, we've got our loss factors, which are passed through from the network and transmission businesses, and then working down the network charges from the poles and wires businesses, the transmission and distribution businesses. Just looking at that bill, Amber, which portion is contracted?
Your retail charges are contracted. That's the offer that you will see on your retail contract, that cents per kilowatt hour cost of 8.0056, 6.7748. That is what you'll see listed on your retail contract.
Okay, fantastic. And there's great opportunities with your meter down at the bottom as well.
Absolutely.
To reduce costs, but also to maintain your autonomy in the market and control your destiny.
Indeed, indeed. So what type of energy buyer are you? We've defined 2 types of buyers. We've got our passive buyers and our active buyers. Passive buyers, energy may be a bit of an afterthought. It's something that you need to secure a contract for. You may be contracting quite late in the cycle. You're not necessarily testing the market for the very best offer for you to achieve. You are at risk of going on default with your incumbent retailer if you don't procure or contract in time. We often see that these customers are on rolling contracts and they tend to not churn from their incumbent retailer. Similar to renewing your home insurance, you're not necessarily out there shopping for the best deal. As compared to your active buyer who is buying selectively, they are assessing their timing of going to market and what the current costs are. They often have a direct responsibility for procurement or energy procurement and management, and are a very selective progressive purchaser.
Right, so just to pick up on some of those points there, between the passive and active buyers, I guess we've observed over many decades there's different types of energy buyers. Not everybody needs to buy energy the same way. Not everybody wants to buy energy the same way. And we can generally fit energy buyers into a matrix, and that allows us to help advise our clients as to what's the best way for them to buy energy. Where's the risk-reward return for them? So to the left side of this matrix, energy is a straightforward cost of doing business. You're interested in minimising the price. You're interested in understanding the composition of the energy and the impact on your net zero strategy. but it's not a point of differentiation for you in the market. It's hygiene to maintain your energy costs down. As opposed to the far right of the matrix, where energy is a cost of goods sold and your access to the best energy price available determines your success globally or locally for the product that you're producing. We typically see it in when we're working with larger manufacturers, that energy is a really sensitive issue. It's really critical to the forward success of the business, and it's dealt with in a strategic manner. It's a C-suite decision and a sign-off that may even go to board. Back to the left side, depending on whether you're a low spend or a high spend customer for your energy, which is a cost of doing business. And I guess an example here, pubs and clubs, accommodation, commercial offices, energy is a cost of doing business. May be significant or not spend for you, and that will determine whether it's a straightforward tactical purchase and you just need a clean and reliable process, or whether it's a longer decision and more factors need to be considered, and you're looking for not just a good, clean process, but professional advice to ensure you get the cost and emission balance correct. Okay, so when we apply that matrix to buyers that we work with in the market, we can step them through a process to describe the extent to which they want to be engaged in an energy purchasing process. How much time have they got? What risk controls have they got in their business? And what's the reward that they'll get for putting more time in versus the purchasing strategy they might want to take. At the very bottom left corner of the graph, we've got clients who are passive. They are content to essentially roll on contracts, and they're content with their existing retailer. Energy may be a relationship purchase, whereas as we move across move to the top right quadrant, we've got a lot of our buyers who are interested in purchasing a low risk and preferably low cost contract, fixed price. We manage them through a process. Then we move them through they may move through a cycle as well. A PPA may be attractive to them, and then we can move them into risk-based pricing that will give them a lot more control over their forward energy costs, but also requires a lot more decision-making through a contracting cycle, right up to supporting some of our clients to become market participants and react to those 5-minute and 30-minute price signals within their business and establish derivative positions around those. How do you buy your energy? So this is, I guess, a fundamental thing that we want to step through with you today, that you've got options.
So what we're looking at here is understanding whether you are saving like an expert. What you can see on screen here is the differences to whether you are doing it yourself or utilising an advisor. And I'll just walk you through some of the steps that are involved in a procurement process, whether it be for one site, 20 sites, 30 sites. The most important point to note is if you miss any of the steps that we've outlined, it will increase your risk. So if we were going down the do-it-yourself path, it's important that the information you present through to the retailer that you're requesting a price from is accurate, because this will make up the basis of your contract. You need to have an accurate load profile, understand what your usage load looks like, and where your contract end date, so when you're looking to commence your contract. You must understand and determine any special requirements that you may be asking. Your finance team might prefer 30-day payment options. However, that risk would be built in by the retailer in terms of the pricing over and above a standard 14-day term. Aside from that, you're then preparing an RFP or an RFQ. You're issuing that request to the appropriate areas within the retailer, obtaining those responses, and then things get a little bit trickier. You're consolidating those responses. You're analysing those results to determine what's the best outcome for you and your business, and where it's appropriate for you, you're doing that process again to get round to from the shortlisted retailers. You're then analysing those results through to present them to your business and proceeding to contracting. So based on those steps, it is a significant investment in time and effort, and you really need to have the confidence that your team are equipped with the tools because the decisions made through this procurement process certainly impact the overall savings and outcome that you can be looking at. Where you choose to engage an advisor, they will request a project order form or a request to proceed to market, the appropriate letters of authority, a bill copy example from you, or it can be sourced using the letter of authority, and they will do that heavy lifting for you to enable you to receive the presented results and take their expert recommendation towards executing that contract. So which one's better? I really wanted to share with you all today a real life example that one of our customers experienced where they had gone directly to retailers to request a price. And the best price that they had achieved, you can see on the left, the direct retailer offer. Total cost came in, when we look just at their black energy rates, their peak and off-peak rates, that came in at $338,000. Where we took that exact same specification to market, to auction, we obtained through competitive tension from our retailer partners, we obtained a price of $272,000. So this particular customer experienced $65,000 worth of savings. So certainly a worthwhile approach in this example of going through an advisor.
So if we may just...
Sorry, I skipped one.
Okay, back to you, Amber.
Beg your pardon. Okay, so some of the key considerations that you need to take into account if you are choosing to manage your procurement event yourself. Your load profile does play a really big part in terms of your analysis of what is the right deal for you. Some businesses are very heavy in the peak, others are fairly flat loads spread across the day, and that will impact whether you are achieving the savings you're looking for across the time of day that you really need those savings the most. So you may naturally focus in on the peak rate and make sure that's really sharp, but in reality, if your business is heavy in the shoulder load, that may not be the best deal for you. So understanding your load profile is really important. One of the biggest decisions is the duration of the contract. Particularly we notice with small businesses, they'll often go to market for 12 months every year. You need to understand the market and where the pricing is sitting, and sometimes the savings of going for a longer term can far outweigh what may be viewed as a convenience of a shorter term contract. So understanding the market and where the sweet spot of pricing is really important. The timing of when to go to market is another key consideration. Make sure that you're signing up when is the best time to buy, and certainly allowing enough time should you be churning from your incumbent retailer for those transfers to occur, that churn across to your new retailer. You need to be very keenly aware of any break fees and any impact that may have. If you're contemplating moving location or significantly changing the load that you have presented to the retailer, that can have an impact on penalties or fees that may be payable by you. So these are some of the key considerations that if you are going to complete a procurement event yourself, you really need to take into consideration to ensure that you're getting the best deal for you and your business.
Great, thank you, Amber. The other point I'd just like to make there, as you're stepping through these key contract considerations or talking to your advisor about this, just bear in mind that this is all dynamic. You know, we had a look at the wholesale market. It's been traded in very short intervals. We looked at the forward retailer contract market where we can see the price moving around in each state. Each time you're going to market, depending on where that price is, those contract considerations will have a different impact on the contract that you sign and the decision that you have to make. So work with your advisor and make sure you're looking at that holistically. Right, let's take a pause. We wanted to ask you the question of how you buy your energy, and we would just want to close this section out now by giving you 3 tips to buying better.
Thanks, Ed. So Summarising what we've covered so far, the first one is do your homework. You are entering into a contract with your retailer. Make sure that you've completed your due diligence. Your information you've presented to the retailer, which will form the basis of their pricing offer to you, is accurate. Your ABNs are correct. Your load is correct, and your term is something that you will be able to achieve that entire contract duration. Make sure that you know the best time to secure your contract. Leaving it till the last minute certainly isn't always the right approach. You may hit an unattractive time for pricing, and as mentioned, you may increase your risk of default pricing if your retailer does not have sufficient time to win the billing rights for your site. So please don't leave your run too late. You need to evaluate the purchasing approach and the risks associated. Are your staff procurement experts? Do they understand this complicated energy market and understand exactly what you're getting into? If you are uncertain on any of those aspects, it really is agreeable to use an advisor to make sure that someone has provided you that expert guidance through this procurement event.
As you're building, as I can feel the chemistry building, and as you're all thinking, I just got to get out to the energy market, I can't wait. What are 2 traps that people should be looking to avoid, Amber?
Sure, Ed. So the 2 traps to avoid are definitely be careful of the apples for apples comparison. So as per Ken's question we just received, it's not just as simple as looking at your peak rate and making sure that that's the most competitive. There are other aspects that make up your retail contract. Make sure you understand any additional fees. Your environmental certificate price is a key component of your retail contract, so please make sure that you are taking that into consideration, and read all of those contract specifications before you sign, particularly if you are a multi-site customer and you are looking for roll-in, roll-out provisions. Make sure you understand all of those clauses, including payment terms, fixed fees and so on.
Couldn't agree more with you, Amber. Getting that specification right up front, it's critical.
Absolutely. The other one is don't become quote fodder. We'll often get alerted by one of the retailers if this is about the 3rd, 4th, 5th and so on quote that they've done. We want to go to market at a time that you're ready to commit, that you will secure that very best price from your retailer. It often is quite short validity in the market at the moment, so you really do need to be prepared. Have your signatories ready to sign off on that contract within about 2 days of securing that price, 2 days to a week. So really be in a position that you are ready to move so that you can get the very best of the offer that's made. Do make that clear decision of when you are ready to go to market. Securing multiple quotes often doesn't lead to the very best outcome.
That's a really good point, Amber. We were talking offline before about how it's similar to the credit markets, right? The more often you touch the credit providers, the more that has an impact on your record. It's not formal in the energy markets, but certainly, you know, a retailer putting an energy price together for your business, they take on a cost. Our business is targeted on helping to reduce that cost for energy retailers and remove a cost component and drive the market for our energy buyers. But yeah, if you're going to numerous advisors or brokers or consultants and also going to the market yourself, you're not avoiding that cost on the market, and retailers will see that coming. Absolutely.
Very good point. They sure will.
Cool. So look, the last thing that we wanted to give you was a trick for success. And look, I'm going to make this really straightforward. It's going to sound like the bleeding obvious, and it is. It's find someone you can trust to work with in the energy market and that can use the power of the energy market on your behalf to drive down energy prices. If you're looking around in the market right now for the right group to work with, please check out our website. Please speak to our people. On our website, we make available some fantastic tools to help you get your market timing right and avoid becoming quote fodder and avoid some of the other trap that Amber talked to. We've got a team of people, about 35 people right around the country, who are ready and willing and keen to work with you to help you make the right decision, to get the right contract, to find the right purchasing method, and balance the opportunities that exist in the market against the time investment and the cost investment that you'd like to make. The last part of this is ensuring that your conversation with your advisor is big enough and broad enough to really capture everything that you want to achieve in your energy contracting cycle. We're very firmly of the opinion that the success of a market depends on both sides of the market cooperating. We need retailers that are honest and transparent and effective and willing to share risk and the benefits of the market. We need energy buyers too that are willing to test the market and push the retailers and use the power of the market. The energy market, ironically and historically, has relied on inertia. We're trying to overcome that inertia by making it easier for clients to churn, to transfer, to be portable in the market and really drive the best outcomes they possibly can for their business. But appreciate, as you're going through that energy is more than just the price, more than just the cost, more than just your P&L these days. It's a risk issue. It's been talked about on the board tables around the country. It's also becoming increasingly political. If you've picked up the papers today, it's all about gas prices and whether the federal government should be jumping in to build a gas-fired generator next year in 2021. It's also your energy decision has a big impact on your net zero strategy and the goals that you can set yourself. With really low electricity and gas prices, now's a good time to be talking to your advisor about what you can achieve to deliver on your net zero goals through your energy contract. So that's my last trick. Find somebody you can trust.